All right, we're doing brakes and rotors on a 2000 Saturn S-series SC coupe. We start off with a 14 millimeter caliper bolts here. Have your wheel turned so that you can access them easier. There we go. We got these long slider pins. These ones look pretty clean. Well, bottom one's a bit crusty. Now the bottom one's going to be thin. Top one's thicker. Put them back in the same spots when you're done. See if we can press this caliper a little bit. I'm not worried about hurting the rotor pads. They're all getting replaced. There we go. That caliper got pressed all the way in. We'll do a brake bleeding afterwards. Get some fresh fluid in there. These pads are all rusted up. Alright, we got an 18 millimeter on the back of here. Try to cut that wheel as far as I can. Looks like it is. These are going to be some of the more simple brakes that you do. Get that caliper out of the way. Our 18 millimeter. Alright, get yourself some premium brake pads that come with new hardware. It's always the best thing to do. Now I'm going to take this bracket over to my bench and clean all the rust out where that hardware sits. And I'm going to wire wheel those sliders. Sliders look pretty clean. There's a little bit of rust on this one. I'm going to wire wheel that off. You can take a wire brush to this bracket or a little Dremel tool, whatever you got to clean it off with. All right, let's get that rotor off. A lot of times you got to hammer them off. Looks like this one's just going to come off, and it's still pretty stiff. Oh yeah, there's a ton of rust on the hub. Well, on the rotor where it touches the hub. There we go. This hub's pretty rusty. I'm just going to give it a quick cleaning. You want it to be a nice surface between the rotor and the hub. Knock some of those chunks off. Got a new rotor. Gonna spray it down with some brake cleaner. They come with some shipping oil on them. So you wanna give them a little spray down with brake cleaner. I like to put a lug nut back on just to keep that rotor straight. Makes it easy to get that bracket on there. All right, we got our bracket all cleaned up. Got the new hardware on there. I put a little bit of grease on the hardware in between the mounting bracket and the hardware to keep them from rusting up. A little bit of grease where the pads touch. Keep the pads from locking in place. Just a little light coat. We use Sil Glide brake lubricant. Silicone base, high temperature. Start our mounting bracket bolts back in there. Nice and tight. Here in Michigan, everything rusts together. This will make your brake pads last a lot longer. Just put a little bit of that grease where the pads are gonna slide. Squealer tab up. There we go. Top pads in. Down south, you probably don't have as much problem with the brake pads rusting together like we do in Michigan, where we salt the roads and everything. Our inside pads, squealer tab up, squeeze them together. I'm gonna put a little bit of that grease, that brake grease on the caliper. It'll help with some brake squeal in the future. And the ears where it touches the pad. This stuff doesn't wash off or burn off easily. And we're gonna put our caliper on. You're gonna make sure your boots don't get smushed. Line them up with the ears of the caliper. There we go. Put a little dab of grease inside each one of them bolts. And then we're going to put just a real thin layer on the slider hardware. Slider bolts. Feed them through, get them started. Fat one up top. Skinny one down bottom. There we go. I'm going to tighten these down real good. Boots on this mounting bracket look good. You want to make sure your boots are good so moisture doesn't get in there and rust seize those slider hardware together. That'll cause some premature wear on your brake pads every time. Get them nice and tight. All right, take our lug nut off. And this side's all done. We're going to do the other side. Prime the pedal. Get those brake pads locked in before you take off. And bleed the brakes. And we're good to go. Pretty easy brake job today.